Hello everyone, today I got this amazing story I just have to share, from r/NuclearRevenge. I saw someone else made a video on it, this story is so good. Okay, basically, the town where the town where this happened is a small one, and the school that I went to is a 70-year-old school. My granddad and my dad are also alumni of the school. Let me just start off by saying this. God, I can't pronounce the word. This is the alumni of the school, or really successful. And the school had a really long history of being very charitable and also offers some amazing retirement benefits to teachers, depending on how long they worked. My great-granddad donated some of his property to the school when it was being constructed, and he was an advisor and a part of the school board in this time. The school was an all-boys school up until 1996. We had the first co-ed class and it's fully co-ed by now. The school also had all classes from kindergarten to high school, split into two buildings. The first one has kindergarten to 5th grade, and the other has classrooms for 6th grade to 12th grade. Part 1. Teacher versus my dad. The incident. Said teacher, we're gonna call her MD, was my dad's math teacher. And when he started high school, she was a young woman. She just finished with her teaching degree and was a master's in math and chemistry. At that point, she was the most qualified teacher the school had. Fortunately, MD was also a nasty person. She walked into class and the students were expected to be sitting on the ready mode, back straight, legs together, and hands on the lap, with only the needed textbook and pencil to take notes from the mornings. The class was expected to greet her with good morning / good afternoon when she walked in, and she would assign tons of weekend homework. She would simply stop teaching an entire hour-long class if one person spoke without having us speak. You couldn't drink without permission, couldn't go to the restroom unless you finally saw your hand raised and asked you to speak. Oh god. There were multiple cases of people complaining against this, but her being the most qualified teacher there, the school board didn't take action. Instead, they supported her by saying that this would help discipline the students. But this is not even the beginning of it. Her exams were incredibly hard, and with the classes being full of teenage boys, they would talk. If even one of them did that, it would cause her to stop teaching and not teach until the next fucking class. She would then lecture on a different topic, completely skipping that part of chemistry. Suffice to say, before the finals, the entire class was in a panicked state trying to self-study enough to at least pass the class. My dad ended up getting a 41%. Our education system that said that you failed the class if you had another 40%. So, he was relieved that he passed, but when he went through the answer sheet, my dad noticed that his totaling was incorrect. That he in fact had a 49 on the test. He raised his hand, and after about 5 minutes or so of him sitting in the seat calmly with his hand raised, he was called on an MD as the problem was. That told that there was a total mistake in the final and that he had actually had a 39. This somehow offended her. Instead of calling him for checking his paper, MD decided it was impossible for her master's in math to make a mistake in something as simple as additions. She waved him off and my dad was shocked, but she just calmly turned to the next person with a question. My dad was not happy. He walked up from his seat, which is basically considered a crime in her class, and put the paper on MD's desk and started totaling his points loudly. MD incredulously watched him to do so, and was lost for words. Though, when he was done totaling, you could see her face was flushed, as she was completely furious. She looked furiously from the paper to my dad, and back to the paper, and a suddenly cruel smile appeared on her face. Oh, okay, I see the mistake, but that's no excuse for this behavior. This award is a subtraction of 10 points from your final. The class was amazed. The first sentence went back to having grim looks, and my dad stood there, jaw dropped, that he now had 39 points, and failed his class. Instead of responding and making the situation worse, simply took his final, packed in the backpack and left the classroom. He went and spoke to his granddad, who was the school board, but he said he couldn't do anything, so his grades are completely in the heads of the teacher concerned. My dad took his loss and decided that the revenge was not worth the trouble and switched classes. He dropped chemistry and took up economics, and that was the last interaction he ever had with this teacher. Now on to part 2. Teacher versus my brother and I. My younger brother B is 2 years younger than me, and so it was freshman year starting high school. My younger brother was in 7th grade. We had an auditorium under construction and the library was newly renovated, so a teacher was assigned to chaperone the younger class students at the library. My younger brother class unfortunately had MD as their chaperone. My dad had specifically instructed me to be very careful around MD, and I was. On the lookout for... oh shit. I was on the lookout, but my younger brother had no idea who he was dealing with. Before summer, our library allows students to take any book of their choice for the break. So when my brother walked past MD to the librarian and was stopped by MD, he was really confused. He had an button and took a copy of Backyard Science Experiments. Both my younger brother and I are really good at science-related topics, and he had been waiting for a summer break to do some cool science experiments at home with me.
Wait a minute, what book do you have there, B?
Story, book, and Backyard Science book, madam.
What are you going to do with that Backyard Science book?
Turning to the other library staff.
I thought his father, no brains in there. You have no idea what he would do with this book. Leave it for someone who does.
And with that, she snatched the book from his hands and walked away, the library staff giving awkward laughs behind her. When he came looking for me, crying, I was furious. I was a really popular guy at school. I won quizzes and debates, and the school national competitions. My friend and I literally had an entire showcase of trophies at school. Pretty Boston. And those teachers loved us. Man. The vice principal and the school group were on first name basis. Chaperoned us on all the competitions we were presented to school, but when he told me what had happened, I was dumbfounded. I had no idea how to react. At that moment, I went to the library and got another copy of the Backyard Science book to console my brother, but then we were out for summer vacation and I didn't think too much of it. Side note, this summer we attended a science meet, and my school friends and I were prized for having the most efficient hydraulic gear based pulley system and the second fastest chemical fuel race boat. This was before I ever took a high school chemistry or physics course. This was announced in the school assembly the first day after the summer break. When we came back for fall, I had a chem class with MD the first day of school. This was also right after the assembly where my group was given the award. So in chem lab, MD set the lab structure and setting up an experiment designed to liberate chloric acid fumes in a gas flask. Some moments passed by and we could see that some mistake had been done. There was no reaction. The mixture turns out to sink. Granules were impure and rusted, but MD somehow got the idea that turning on the Bunsen burner on full blast would help the experiment. After collecting the gas for about 3 minutes, which is 2.5 minutes too long, aside from chloric fume, as the fumes are toxic if inhaled, she's satisfied. She then pulls up the flask to show the class how we do experiments. Sharon the icing is when she opens the flask, brings it comfortably close to the girl beside me.
Just smell pungent.
The girl awkwardly smells and jerks away. To someone who has no clue that would be possible confirmation, but I knew
that was complete horseshit.
I could see that the girl knew about pungent fumes and cringed away on reflex, and not because it was actually pungent. I don't know why I did it, but that moment I snorted loudly. MD zooms in on me, walks towards me, and as face attracted to her expression, she goes something
funny. You can't share with us?
I knew I messed up, but I was also angry. The person in front of me had bullied my younger brother and my dad. I remember that, and suddenly all my verbal sensors were shut down. You and I both know that shit didn't smell anything pungent. That experiment we just did was a failure.
Oh, and you think you know more than me? Turn to class. He knows more than me. You know what? I stepped down. Why don't you teach the class, Professor Nicholas Feed?
Oh, absolutely! To the absolute shock of everyone watching, I walked up to the podium whilst maintaining eye contact with MD. First thing I remembered class, turn to experiment 1 of your lab textbook. Read the warnings. The gas is pungent and poison.
How dare you? Has no one taught you manners? This is no roadside shack, and you wouldn't do well to remember that, else you're gonna have a couple of broken bones.
This was in a different language, but if you want the exact translation, it was, I'll break your limbs and feed them to you. She's absolutely furious, grabs me by the hand, proceeds to drag me to the principal's office. On the way there, we crossed the vice principal's office and sees them bring me away and runs out. What's going on there? Before I can say anything, MD starts ranting to him about how disrespectful and unacceptable my class behavior is, and is giving by the end of his spiel. He gives me a searching look and then responds with a "Go back to class, MD, I'll deal with him." We head back to his office and he offers me a seat and a glass of water. What actually happened in this class, Nicholas Fiend? He asks with a sigh. Tell him exactly what happened was, he hears my side of the story, looks at me, and asks me if I really went to the podium and started lecturing the class. I look up, see the Gubs, with his normally reserved face. Imagine someone who looks like a male, Minerva McGonagall, but completely shocked. I couldn't stop myself. I started with a snigger which turned to full-blown laughter. I laughed till my stomach hurt and my eyes teared up. To my surprise, Pete was also smiling wildly at that. He shook his head and the expression was back. I know that what happened in there had you concerned for class safety, but there's no reason for such disruptive behavior. Aside from that, I'm personally going to investigate what happened to class, and if MD is found to be intentionally forcing students to inhale harmful chemicals, she will be sacked immediately. Oh, you're supposed to hand over a handwritten apology to MD about this behavior. Now get moving. I sighed and headed back to class, and I really thought that I had ended MD's career. Oh, how wrong I was. She changed the story so it looked like I had purposely done the experiment wrong. I was about to reprimand the girl for inhaling what could have been a harmful chemical. MD pulled one on me and had me. It looked like I was just an insolent child. Thought that he knew everything by reading a chapter of the book. And here, I stopped myself. This event was me just going in head on with a teacher who had been in school for longer than 35 years. Part 3, Pro Revenge Mode. Now, I knew that to help my brother, I needed to get rid of her. My dad knew about what happened in school, and he wanted me not to engage MD. He said it was not worth it. But by now I was in the game. She'd played her card, and it was my turn now. I know made it so that she had such a problem with my dad and my younger brother. They were quiet and hard-working students. I felt she had something against her family, and I was convinced my younger brother would have to deal with the same problem if I somehow messed up and got expelled, or made a worse enemy out of MD. This was war, and I had a new plan. I started to act really sheepish around her, and I made it a point to stay back after class and ask her questions in the most polite way possible. I was a kid who was guilty of not understanding the plans of elders. I portrayed myself as an amazing student who MD had succeeded in humbling. I slowly but surely made my way into the category best described by the term bootlicker. It hurt me inside to do it, but what I planned just went well. Maybe like that anticipation. I was in it to win it. I conceded defeat in a fight to win the war. 2 years later, I'm in junior year. My younger brother used to start high school, and he was taking a chem class with MD. I was the highest scorer in chem and was a pet to MD. She had started to like the Nicholas Fiend I portrayed and made me the lab assistant for that year. Two of my best friends knew exactly what I had planned. Everyone else in class hated me for being the teacher's pet. Getting straight A's when the next highest grade was a B minus. Everything was going according to plan. On the first day of class, I replaced a stool. One of the three-legged ones with a broken stool. This was supposed to be the first in a series of pranks that would hit her that day. She came to class and went to take her seat, and boy, she fell. Well, she somehow hit her hand on the ball and cried out. Yup, that must have hurt, but it was definitely overweight. She was definitely overweight, and it couldn't be traced back to me. I smiled on the inside as I rushed her and helped her back up. I ran and fetched her another chair while inside the freshmen trying their best not to laugh. When I got back from the room that had extra stools, I walked in on the side of her screaming like a banshee. What got me furious was Jessie was screaming at my younger brother. Apparently, she had said something like, "Stupid stool, stupid lamp, fools," to which my brother had responded with, "It's not my brother's fault, you're too heavy for the stool." Though I loved him for it, he really needed to learn where to come to my aid. But then, I didn't do much. I just replaced the chair silently, whilst trying to communicate to my brother to calm down. Nothing else of concern happened that day, up till the time when my school was over and teachers were heading back. Stage 2 was in motion. We heard a loud bang, and immediately the large crowd of students nearby all headed towards the teacher's car parking lot. We saw MD's car smoking and their exhaust blown right off. Keep in mind that it was an older car, and we had decided to block off the exhaust with clay that had hardened over 6 hours of a sunny day. Well, that car had to be towed, and she went home with some of the students that day. She didn't show up to school for 2 days after that, but she did show up to school on the third day, which was a half school day because our country celebrates Teachers' Day. It's the tradition that students go to their teachers, current and old, and wish them the best. Or give them cards, gifts, etc. This was far the most ambitious prank pulled in the school, and school that I know of. 2 days she was absent. We went around telling people not to visit her on Children's Day, Teachers' Day, I think about, yeah. It helped a lot that my friends and I were some of the most popular people in school, with the other quote-unquote cool guys and girls agreeing to that. We spread the word and got confirmation that no one from the entire class in my area was going to go to her to wish her on Teachers' Day. But what actually happened was something no one could have expected. I guess it could have been because we acted so fanatical about it that our classmates spread the word to all their friends, and no one, not a single person in high school, went to her on Teachers' Day. It was the most amazing feeling of accomplishment I ever had. She made the situation for herself by being the nastiest person I've ever seen. I was still surprised that people noticed her. For the first time in 70 years of school, a teacher had not had a single well-wisher on Teachers' Day. Well, things are never perfect, and as it so happened, word for the spark got to her the next day. I had just set up the lab. The freshmen were getting settled in, and here comes MD, anger radiating from her waves. She walks up to me and then get the hardest slap I've ever gotten in my life, right across my face. I hate to admit it, but that left a blue mark on my cheek, and my nose, and my lip bleeding. My younger brother saw that happen and ran towards me, but my shock slowly subsidized a bloody smile that probably scared him. I told him to get to the vice principal. 20 minutes later, I was in the school emergency room with a nurse wiping my lip, holding cloth on my nose. The vice principal comes in with the principal and 2 cops in tow. They informed me that my parents had been informed and asked me if I would like to talk about it now or when my parents are here. I say that I can answer questions as soon as my lip gets bandaged. So I tell them about the case of bullying against me my brother and I. Wait, I guess my brother and I. And also tells them that he's a really competent teacher. I tell the principal that he could check the school's average in science subjects, and sure as I guessed, the average scores of the natural exam we had physics, biology come in at 92 and 90, with chemistry surprising 79. Topping that off with sole charges, she lost her license to teach 2 years before she retired, and with that lost an amazing retirement benefit the school had offered. Her car also had no insurance. Huh. That's not all though. One could ask, what would be worse? Well, consider this. The fall she had off the stool had her go to the hospital for an x-ray of wrist hip. That she suspected might have been broken. Well, the wrist sure had a hairline fracture. The tape was fine, but well, the x-ray showed another thing. I don't think it's normal for anyone to laugh when someone's diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, but I did. Also, I later bet with her only living family member, her nephew, who had long cut all contact with her, but had been contacted by the police at the hospital. That's where I found out the truth. Well, I could never have guessed what I found out there. MD's mom was my great-granddad's niece. My great-granddad's younger brother stole money from the family and tried to kill my great-granddad. Well, he was disowned. Good shit. And no one knew this entire time. Well, not that anyone would care. Happy that this woman is out of our lives for good time. Apparently she died last year with no one by her side. That story was just amazing. It's one of the most satisfying stories I've ever seen on Reddit. But yeah, anyway, I gotta go now to talk to a friend, so don't expect anything further now. I don't know, I'm just gonna say something funny. Poo poo papa, ha 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 ha. So see you guys some other time. Bye.